Hello, hello. Welcome back to Minds on Mushrooms. I'm your host, Maggie Kirkwood. I am delighted we have back on the show Andrew Weiss. He was a guest, but I don't know, maybe about a year and a half ago. He is the writer of an amazing psychedelic blog on Substack called the Psychedelic Blog. But today, I'm so pumped. We are here to talk about your new adventure, your new product, Kanna, which has, we haven't talked much about Kanna at all on Minds on Mushrooms. So I'm super stoked to have you here and to dive right in. How are you doing, Andrew?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me back and for the kind words.
Yes. So yeah, let's start there. I'm really looking to, I don't know, I guess I've never spoken about Kanna and its benefits, and I'm really intrigued to learn more about what got you on this path of developing this product.
Yeah. It started with, so on the blog, after I reached a certain scale, I would get, companies would reach out to me for like affiliate marketing. Hey, will you, help promote whatever the insert product, and you collect a small fee for how much you sell. So it's kind of like neutral to positive, right? So I've entertained a few of these, and about 2 years ago, a Kanna company reached out to me. I was only vaguely familiar with the product, did some research, seemed pretty interesting. They sent me a free sample. I tried it. I really enjoyed it. And so I did an affiliate marketing deal with them, and it sold like nothing I had ever done sold like Kanna did. And I would hear from friends and family and subscribers of my blog that, hey, this product's amazing. So me and a business partner of mine kind of started doing our own research. We looked into, the history, the effects, the benefits. And I just figured, okay, well, instead of just selling this for someone else, I'd love to build my own Kanna brand. And we made our own kind of specific alterations and spent 6 months trying different, products and meeting with manufacturers and distributors in South Africa where Kanna is grown organically.
Okay.
Every Kanna that you've ever had comes from South Africa originally. And then, we built our brand and went to market this past summer, 25.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And Kanna exactly is, what is it derived from?
It's a plant. So it's a plant-based supplement. It has a long history of use in South Africa. It used to be, chewed. I think I could dive into the science, but I think probably would be more interesting for your audience is like the use case. And what we're seeing is it bifurcate along two different lines. One, and every Kanna company, for the most part that I'm familiar with, lives within these two kind of cohorts. The first is a kind of daily wellness. Think about it like a vitamin. Some promote it as like an SSRI alternative. Well, that's an area I wouldn't get too deep into because I think it's very nuanced. And you take one Kanna per day, and this will alleviate stress, boost creativity, just create a little bit more of subtle euphoria and bliss throughout the day.
Okay.
The second use case where my company Get Kanna lives is more of a alcohol replacement, MDMA replacement, more of like an intentional use. Friday night, you and your partner enjoying Kanna together. There are a lot of aphrodisiac qualities to it, reduction of inhibition, more presence, more connection, more joy. And so, that's the path that we find kind of more interesting. And I think, I think to me, that's probably more where the future of Kanna lives.
I see. And is your kind of take on it still exploring the similar same dose that like a regular daily Kanna product would have, or is it more of a situational experience?
Yeah, that's a good question. More situational. So not like one capsule a day. We actually, when we built our product, we did 5 capsules because a good use case is 3 for a man, 2 for a woman. Since men are typically bigger than women, we take a little bit more. Obviously, there's a whole bunch of variants, from person to person. There, everyone has a unique, neurobiology. So this isn't, an explicit instruction, but typically 3 for a man, 2 for a woman. Related to that, one of the real benefits that I loved about Kanna is that it is reverse tolerant. So the more you take over time, the less you need. And it's also anti-addictive. So that was also very important to us. Like, we don't want to, I think one of the most unspoken, biggest things we could be celebrating as a culture right now is the demise of alcohol. Gen Z is drinking less than any generation in history. Alcohol sales are plummeting.
Mhm.
But before we get too irrationally optimistic about that, like humans aren't going to stop being pleasure seekers for the first time in human history. Every civilization throughout history, loved drugs, loved altered states. We are a curious, explorative, by design. It's in our nature. It's in our DNA. And so, something is going to replace alcohol. It's not going to be a puritanical, deprivation is not ever going to work at scale. And so I think what was important to me when bringing Kanna to market was, okay, is this replacement, is it better than the thing it's replacing? And the answer is unequivocally yes.
I see. Uh, let's talk a little bit more about that. What is like when I'm using psilocybin, I use full spectrum, so recreationally, and it's helped me heal, many other things. But is there like a kind of like, what's your perfect Kanna experience? Is it more recreational? And I want to hear about, what sort of benefits or the experience itself. Is it something I know when I have kava, and I think that has the same reverse tolerance, but my mouth feels a little funny. Like I'd just like to hear kind of what a Kanna experience entails and how you like to sit with it yourself.
Yeah, so I think the path that we're following, I think Kana has multiple benefits based on context and individual experience. But for the product that we're bringing to market, it is absolutely recreational. And if you go to our website, like you'll see all in our Instagram, all of the promotional material is kind of couple focused. I think a substance that brings couples together is not immaterial in terms of the kind of cascading impacts that has on a culture. Substances, my theory has always been that alcohol diverges and substances like Kanna merge
Mm.
people. So getting into the specifics of the experience itself, very tactile. So touch feels really good, which is amazing. For a whole bunch of like scientific reasons, like releases of serotonin, it's a PDE4 inhibitor. You get more clarity, more presence, more connected experience. Lasts based on dosage 2 to 4 hours.
Oh
Um,
wow.
and I think the most beautiful part is no come down, no crash. You can wake up the next day and go to the gym, do your daily, responsibilities. And I think the reason I point that out is a lot of the comparisons in terms of what the experience of Kanna is like. We can't use this in our branding because then we'll get flagged on social media, but it's like MDMA light. Uh,
I see.
yeah, like a decaf Molly experience. But one of the reasons I love Kanna is very few people enjoy MDMA more than I do.
Mm.
It's I quit alcohol 8 years ago. 2 years after quitting, I did my first MDMA journey with a partner, and I was just for my wiring, and I assume there's a lot of people like me, people that are very analytical, that live in thought, that have had traumatizing experiences in the past. MDMA is a 4 hour cessation from all of the worst things that you ever dealt with in your life. The cerebral part of the brain takes a lunch break, and you just kind of drop into this heart space, and you're allowed to feel. And that is a beautiful experience. The novelty of that for certain, people, certain personalities, it even exacerbates the intensity of how powerful of an experience it is. But MDMA comes with a lot of cost.
Mm.
I recently wrote an article on its just ruinous impact on sleep. I mean, you're not getting anywhere near back to restorative sleep for at least 6 weeks after taking MDMA.
Wow.
Yeah, and unlike other substances, like alcohol destroys sleep,
Hmm.
but it destroys sleep the night you drink, and then the next day you get restorative sleep. With
Okay.
MDMA, you don't get restorative sleep the next night. So your body, that's what's the science behind the Tuesday blues is
Yeah.
you still haven't had a full, SWS REM level sleep in 3 days,
Hmm.
4 days. And so, I'm someone that is, very health conscious. I don't drink, I train hard, I eat, very healthy. And yet I fell in love with this modality that
Hmm.
will destroy your sleep for a month. If you're doing that 4 times a year, I mean, that's a quarter of the year you're not, sleeping
Yeah.
in an optimal way. So Kana gives a lot of the benefits of MDMA with none of that downside ruinous impact on sleep and health.
And also, it kind of would be legal, correct?
In 49 states, for
Oh,
some reason, Louisiana, which I spent the summer in and I loved, Louisiana has made Kana illegal. So on our website, if you're in Louisiana, unfortunately, it'll block you from buying it. But in other 49 states, Kana is legal.
did you dig into that a little bit? Was that something that was recent or? is it?
We dug into it to the extent of just making sure that we're operating within the confines of the law. I think we're in this, like, this well from being in the psilocybin world, like we're in this weird purgatory of, like, certain substances are illegal, some are state, some are federal. Like, it's just this
Mhm,
very murky, ambiguous ecosystem that we find ourselves in.
mhm,
As Kana grows in popularity, other states might step in, but um, I think the states where people are like, change is always asymmetrical, right? So, like,
mhm.
the states where people are actively buying Kana, Texas, where there's a huge psychedelic, cohort, Colorado, California, like
I
the
see.
odds of states making it illegal, I think I would put it, near zero.
Gotcha. Yeah, just to backtrack a little, when we talk about kind of offering uh, low dose or decaf dose of MDMA, I too myself have learned, um, you know, MDMA is very toxic. And I think it's something very minimally over the course of the year, like 3 times max. And I think that that is a message that not many people know about. So for me, I'm absolutely just really excited to try your product. And yeah, I think anything that's safe and can offer light effects of an MDMA, it sounds really special. I think in this day and age, we need just these soft heart openers just to kind of take the edge off and really anything that helps us be more present and feeling well, feel, being present is amazing. What types? I know that with your product, you're looking at capsules. Is it ever ingested as a beverage, or is it mainly capsulized?
Yeah, there's different companies selling different intake mechanisms. Right now, we're in our first product we launched 6 months ago. We're selling the capsules.
Mhm.
Our next launch will be gummies, and you can find those
Oh,
online as well. There's also Kana chocolate, and then there are drinks.
mhm.
Drinks is probably a world we won't get into in the near term. Once you, from just a operator of a business perspective, once you get into the drinks world, the upfront capital required, is tenfold to everything else, because you're getting into, like, refrigeration, a whole bunch of more regulation in terms of, like, temperature, and so we probably won't get into the drinks market anytime soon. But people seem to love the capsules. I personally do, simply because it's an easy way to modulate, like, your intake. Like, I used to buy with my psilocybin, I used to buy, like, actual mushrooms, and there is something beautiful about that.
Mhm.
But where I live in Mexico now, I buy capsule psilocybin, and I prefer that intake because I can almost down to a science say, here's how, do I want a tear during the sunset tonight,
Yeah,
or do I just want to, like, not think about work, and I can, modulate the dose based on that. So yeah, right now we're in the capsule world.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And speaking of, have you done any sort of exploration with psilocybin, Denkana, or any other plant medicines? Any good combos to be aware of?
Yeah, so I have to be careful here because, obviously, once you start recommending poly substance use, there's, we can't
Sure.
put that on our package.
Hmm.
But I've had several people reach out to me directly, and this isn't unique to my company. This is kind of a known thing with Con in general. Is there does seem to be a lot of interest in a small dose of psilocybin alongside Kana. That mix is very euphoric, very tactile, and a great way to spend a Friday night.
All right. I love it. Let's see here. So, if people are curious and interested and want to check it out, they can hit up your website at
GetKana.com.
awesome. And
Yeah.
then Substack, awesome psychedelic blog is the psychedelic blog. And you're still going at that, right?
Oh yeah, I publish twice a week, so every
Y-
Friday and
Every
Sunday.
Friday. Oh, and Sunday. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
well, Sunday is for paid. I've grown a lot since our last conversation, so Sundays now I do for an insider for paid subscribers, and then Friday is the free blog every week.
Ah, sweet. Well,
Yeah.
good work on that.
Thank you.
And you're still enjoying life down in Mexico,
I'm in
correct?
Puerto Vallarta. Yeah, it's an easy, peaceful life down here.
Amazing, Andrew. Well, you keep living it up. And yeah, let us know. Is there anything else you want to mention before we sign off here?
No, I just express gratitude for having me back on. Always a pleasure to talk to you, Maggie. Thank you for the work you're doing in the space.
Thank you, Andrew. Well, it was my pleasure having you back, and I'm excited to give Get Kanna a go and promote it for you. So this is
Thanks so much.
exciting. Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
All right, have a good one.
You
Thanks
too.
for tuning in, guys. To place an order, you can visit getkanna.com and use code FRIENDS0FGK2 for free shipping. Thank you.